Graham Matthews, Bleacher Report, FanSided, Daily DDT. My man, how you doing?
Doing well, Mr. Randy Cruz. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Good morning. We're taping this live on Twitter and YouTube on Friday, October 4th. Follow Graham on Twitter at WrestleRant. Great work for both Bleacher Report and FanSided DDT. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music. If you're watching live on YouTube, go ahead, download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. In the middle, if you're watching live on YouTube, a great friend of mine and Graham's for a very, very long time. The guy that kind of put me and Graham together many, many years ago, my man Arden Franklin, great work social media wise. Dunkyard, Fanatics, he's the man. Arden Franklin, my man, how you doing?
My guys, everything is good. Happy Friday, happy Bad Blood Eve. It's great, man. I'm super excited for tomorrow, and of course, super excited to be back with my guys, man, talking about some good old wrestling.
Right. So Grant, Arden got the memo of wearing a wrestling shirt, related shirt. I got Stone Cold. He got Mommy.
Yep.
What you got on today, man?
Nothing. I just got my old alma mater t-shirt on. I didn't get the memo. I missed that. Usually, and the funny thing is, typically I do wear something wrestling related. I missed the memo today, so I am the odd man out. I apologize for that.
Come on, Grant. Listen. From now on, the memo is we got to wear something, a hat, shirt,
something
related to pro wrestling. All right.
All right. I got the memo now.
I got you. You can follow Arden on Twitter at @isthatarden. Same thing for Instagram. Again, great work for Dunkyard Fanatics. So you just mentioned Bad Blood Eve tomorrow night. It is Bad Blood again. And if you're watching, hit us up with questions, comments pertaining to Bad Blood or anything in the world of professional wrestling. Bad Blood tomorrow. We know Drew McIntyre and CM Punk Hell in a Cell will open up the event, and the Roman Cody tag match will main event Bad Blood. Arden, what are you looking most forward to? Again, I see the Mommy shirt. Are you looking most forward to that championship match? What is catching your eye for tomorrow night?
Oh, of course, anytime to see Rhea, it's always going to be, high on the list, especially in the championship.
That's right.
Opportunity. So I'm very excited about that. But, I'm definitely most excited about Drew and Punk. They had a rivalry, which, in my opinion, I think a lot of people's opinions was the rivalry of the year. I think that'll be confirmed at the end of this year on a lot of those end of the year rankings. And I think this was literally the best way to end this rivalry. Hell in a Cell at a special event like Bad Blood, which for a lot of us who grew up, in the Attitude Era, we remember how classic, the Bad Blood pay-per-view was. I still think about Bad Blood 05 when Triple H and Batista finished their, three-match stretch, following WrestleMania 21 and, just the magnitude of that event and those matches. And I just think for Punk and McIntyre, this is a great way to end it. Especially just a great way to now see for them, like, yo, what are the plans moving forward? I know we're going to talk about predictions later. So for my predicted winner, I think this is going to be a great way for them to, re-enter the world title picture. For the other one, I'm thinking is this may be a chance to maybe have them re-enter the title picture in another way. Maybe it's a little time off. We shall see. Of course, when you think about the main event as well, Cody and Roman versus the Bloodline, it is a matter of, who can possibly pop out at the end. I'm definitely on the boat. I do think some folks are going to come out. At the end of the day, right, we're, less than 2 months officially from Survivor Series. So I do think you got to start building towards that. So I am expecting a huge appearance. I don't think Pat McAfee, for no strange reason, after interviewing Cody the other day, would be like, I heard the big guy is coming up. I mean, in one way, it would be great if that big guy is who I'm thinking does pop out, but on the other, it will make me deeply regret it because I was this close to going to Atlanta this weekend to see Bad Blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for the event. I think this event is a great way and an unofficial way to really button up the summer and what was a great summer for WWE, while also really kicking off what's going to be a very fun winter. And again, we got Survivor Series in less than 2 months.
Before Graham chimes in, are you in agreement that tomorrow at Bad Blood, with an 8-month rivalry with Punk and Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell, the culmination of this rivalry is the opening match of the show? Because Graham last week said that if you put Hell in a Cell on first, the matches after that is gonna be like it's gonna be a hard act to follow because we know the main event is gonna be Roman and Cody. But
Yeah.
with Hell in a Cell in the beginning, like all the fandom is gonna die down until Roman and Cody come out. Would you have put Punk and Drew McIntyre in the main event as opposed to the opening match?
I mean, I probably would have leaned towards putting them in the first match. I
Okay.
think just because of that dynamic. At the end of the day, right? Graham is correct, right? The fan energy is going to automatically die down after what Punk and McIntyre do, especially if they delivered. But you hope that the remaining matches, whether it's again Rhea Liv or Nia Jack Bailey or whoever else, can at least build it back up over the course of the night. So that by the time the main event gets here, the fans are fully engaged and ready to go. So I'm in agreement with not only what Graham says, but I'm in agreement with the fact that, like, yeah, it would have been my first match too, because the main event would have already been settled. Like, there's no other match I would have put in the main event. So what? I'm gonna put Hell in a Cell third or like before the main event? Nah,
Right.
we got to set the tone right. So this is match number 1.
I hear you, Graham. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, as far as that goes, I mean, it has to either be the main event or the opener for Hell in the Cell. I mean, it seems like it is set in stone that Hell in the Cell is opening the show. That obviously could change in the next 24 hours. Things are always changing over there, it seems. So, listen, it's a good problem. I think the bottom line is that it's a good problem for the company to have these two massive attraction matches with the, Cody and Roman dynamic. They're the two biggest stars currently in the company, active stars that they have, to have them team up. No stakes to the matchup as far as we know right now. I know Cody, to Arden's point, had mentioned, Pat had mentioned the big guy on the Pat McAfee show this past week. Cody had also made an interesting comment that after the main event, they're airing a video package or something along those lines that will have championship implications for Crown Jewel or going forward. Don't know exactly what that means, but listen, it's going to be a good show regardless. I do feel bad for the 3 matches in the middle, regardless of what match opens the show. But if they're going to have the tag team match go on last, I hope there's a good reason for it. And whether it's The Rock or a new Bloodline member or something like an Orton heel turn or something like that, I assume they would justify that decision to have that go on last. So I think it'll be a fun show regardless.
I mean, listen, I agree. Me being a big Hell in a Cell fan, I would have loved to have it as the main event because it's the culmination of an 8-month rivalry. But if you look at it, the Bloodline Cody has been going on for what, 2 years now? So that's been a longer story, and it just continues to grow. And again, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of what this Crown Jewel thing is all about. Tournament, a fatal 4-way, we have no idea. But Arden, seeing Cody and Roman tag team. Listen, we've seen many people who don't get along on the screen. Gotta be friends for the time being. But as you see, if Cody tag team with Roman, you see KO and Randy Orton not really feeling that. A heel turn is bound to happen either from KO or Orton. What do you expect from this match? As Graham mentioned, could The Rock pull up? Could Jimmy Uso return? Like, Survivor Series 1 month away. We got War Games. So what do you expect from this match? And at some point in time, do you see Cody kind of being like, is he still the major good guy? Does he have heel like kind of tweener like? What's your vibe?
Yeah, I'm super curious. I think just to really see how different character dynamics play out tomorrow, right? Because again, like you listed it, it's literally we could see Cody lean a little bit more into the tweener lifestyle. Of course, right? And I think this is very anticipated by WWE fans. Kevin Owens or Randy, potentially turning. I lean more so KO, even though I think with Randy, even though it's expected, that would be a pleasant surprise because of the fact that, hey, you follow week in and week out. KO's the one that's leaning more towards that. But again, right, it never hurts to see an RKO out of nowhere, especially at an event like that.
That's right.
But I do think, again, like, I think the match tomorrow is going to be one of those very dramatic, slowly, drawn out matches where, from a technical standpoint, we're not going to see, some elite wrestling. But I think the storytelling, I do think a lot of the storytelling with how, Cody, Roman, the Bloodline, how they really bring this to life is going to give us more inkling as to, like, okay, something is going to happen at the end. And I think that's what the match is really going to be. It's going to be a lot of like, yo, let's like get to the end. Like, what's going to happen? Like, I think about even at SummerSlam, right? When it was like, Cody versus Solo. They had a very solid match. But at the end of the day, we were like, yo, let's get to the end when Roman comes out. Like, let's get to that. And I think tomorrow's match is going to be that as well. I think it's going to be a solid match. But it's going to be, yo, what's going to happen, right? Are we going to hear that final boss theme go off towards the end of the match or after?
Mhm.
Are we going to see KO and Randy interference because maybe the rest of the bloodline jumps in and beats up on Roman and Cody, and then suddenly we see the surprise turn? Or is there a legit chance that, you know, Cody not only leans into the tweener lifestyle, but maybe does the rare super pull off of a heel move and turns against Roman? I think tomorrow's match is going to be a whole lot of, yo, how long is this match going for? All right, let's get to the end. Like, we need to see it. Like, it's gonna, like, folks are gonna be dying of anticipation for what's gonna happen tomorrow.
Graham?
Yeah, I think with this show again, and kind of going off of what Arden just said, specifically with this matchup, I think it's good because compared to all the other PLEs they've done this year, this is their first, I'd have to go back and check, but their first domestic B show in a long time. Obviously, they were in Cleveland for SummerSlam, but they were just in Germany for Bash in Berlin. Then for Money in the Bank, I think they were in Canada. Obviously still in America, North America, but not in the United States. They were in Australia and all these other places, France, Saudi Arabia. They haven't had like a regular B show in the States in a long time, probably in close to a year. So they have to do a lot to make this show feel special because you're not going to have that crowd element. I'm sure the crowd will be great. It's like almost sold out. I saw they're going to have a big crowd tomorrow night in Atlanta. But it's not going to be like the grandeur of like, even with Backlash and Bash in Berlin, they were B shows, but like they were in stadiums and I guess the France one wasn't, but you had those really, 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 really hot crowds. Atlanta, I'm sure is going to be great, but I don't know if it's going to be quite as hot as those other atmospheres they've had elsewhere across the world. So they're going to have to make up for that with some unpredictable matches. And this is one of them. I think all the matches honestly could go either way, specifically this one with all the other factors that Arden mentioned. They could really go any which way, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. As long as they do something interesting, if they close the tag team match with something interesting to close the show, and it's not like we just had Punk and Drew kick off and then we close with Roman and Cody winning and then nothing else, I would be disappointed in that case. I still say Hell in a Cell should main event, but if it doesn't, you got to justify closing the show with something epic in that tag team match. And I think any of the options that Arden mentioned, I would totally be down for.
So our boy Noob said, I'm pretty much getting tired of the whole Bloodline Cody feud because it's already boring as it is. And I tell you, Noob, you might be boring of it now, but if The Rock pulls up tomorrow night, you ain't bored no more. You're like, what's going to happen now? So like, real quick, let's get to Bad Blood. So we know Punk and Drew. Are we in agreement that Punk is going to win this match, right?
I think so. Yeah, I would say so.
All right.
110% confident.
All right, Punk. Nia Jax Bailey for the women's championship. Nia Jax walks in as the champion. Does she retain? I think she will.
I think it's Nia Jax. I know Bailey's your girl for both you guys. You had a chance to meet her. You know, do your thing with her a couple months. Love Bailey, but I think Nia Jax wins here.
Hey, listen. After Rhea, Nia is my second white.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm expecting her. I'm expecting her to get that dub. As well.
Good stuff.
Nia Jax. We gotta. You know, again too, another thing to look for, right? That's a match where I think the result is very predictable, but we gotta see what Tiffy Time gonna do. Are they gonna keep teasing that? Is there a surprise cash in? There's something that we got to keep playing with that.
Got it. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, former Judgment Day buddies going at it one-on-one. I mean, this one could be a toss-up. I think Damian might win, but it's like I think Graham is gonna lean towards Damian because he don't want to see this Judgment Day thing keep going forward. Because like, what is there for Finn Balor to do if it ain't the Demon? Like, what do we got here? So, Priest or Finn Balor?
Man, this is the toughest match for me to call. I was thinking about it because I was leaning more towards Damian getting the win, but at the same time, I'm like, if you really want to build up Finn even more as a heel,
he needs it more.
Mm-hmm. So I have to choose, and I will, I go with Finn winning tomorrow with Judgment Day interference, because I feel like the Judgment Day and Terror Twins, they're gonna go 1-1 tomorrow. That's what I'll say. I think they're gonna go 1-1 tomorrow.
Okay.
I can't see either side sweeping, to be honest.
So that means you have Rhea, Mommy.
I mean, it's on the shirt. How could you go with anything else but Rhea?
I'm just saying.
Represent.
Listen, I'm a big Liv Morgan fan over here too, so I'm digging her and the whole Dominic, the whole new Judgment Day vibe, and it's like, does Rhea need the title now right away? Is she better in catch up mode, chase mode? Then because if you put the belt back on her tomorrow, then who is there for her to fight after that?
I mean, her and Liv could run it back again. I mean, would
They
it hurt?
definitely could, yeah.
Yeah, would it hurt? Extend it to Survivor Series?
I think Arden's right on that. I don't think this is the end. At one point, I thought it was the end, but I think even with Dominic in the cage, which feels like a blow-off stipulation, I still think they had at least one more match. I think I'm going to go bold here and say that we do get a Judgment Day sweep, just because I feel like this isn't the same Judgment Day that we've, obviously it's not the same Judgment Day, but like they need something, because Rhea and Damian are so white hot right now. And I don't think they lose anything from losing these matches. So I'm going to go Balor and I'm going to go Liv. I think Rhea will get the belt back, but I don't think it happens tomorrow. So I'm going to say Liv retains, but I think Arden's right, though. I don't think this is the end of the feud. At least one more match between the two.
Yeah.
I'm going with Finn because he barely defends. He's barely defending the tag titles for over 100 days. 100 days? Really? Wow.
Yeah. Blinking, you miss it. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, if Jack Tunney was president, they would have been stripped of the titles by now. So
3 months ago, yeah.
Damn, 100. They haven't now one title defense.
Well, one time they beat the New Day on Raw a couple weeks ago, but beyond that, they have not defended the belts.
Yeah,
it's clearly not a priority right now. Yeah,
and then they gotta stop doing that though. Like y'all just had the U.S. title be held hostage. We gotta get back to defending titles on a regular basis, man.
And you know what, Arden, great point, because Graham has been saying that we don't need like 1,000-day title reigns and 2 years and 1 year. Like back in the Attitude Era, it flip flop. Yeah, but now we haven't had
a little bit more of that. Yeah,
a little more of that where it's like
better balance.
More of a balance, 3 months here, 2 months here, like get everybody a title shot. But like, if you just having the strap and you ain't doing shit, then it's like, what's the point?
This is what I was telling two of my good friends. Shout out to my guys, Carl Lamar and Armand Sadler, two really dope journalists who do everything between music and wrestling, between Billboard, Vibe, etc. And like in our chat, we've had convos about that where I'm like, I hate to be the good old days guy, but I'm like, in the good old days, we used to see random title changes. Like Cats didn't always run with the title for more than 6 months at maximum. Like I used to bring up the year 2000, right? Like, you think about Rock and Triple H exchanging the titles. They used to hold the main title for like 2 to 3 months at a time, and then sprinkle in a random Jericho win or a random Kurt Angle win, and Angle would get it for 2 to 3 months. And then they will also defend the title. You were capable of seeing title matches on Raw, on SmackDown. Even if you knew the interference was going to be, once again, even if you knew the ending was going to consist of interference, at least there was title matches. Same thing with the Intercontinental belt, tag team titles, European titles. I'm like, we got to get back to defending the titles and making it worthwhile.
Because it's crazy, because the guy you see on my shirt, Steve Austin, you would think, he had like a year reign, 2-year reign. Nope. I think the longest reign Stone Cold had the belt for was like
probably 5 months, right?
5 months. Like WrestleMania 14 till
I was about to say
not to King of the Ring in June.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, I was thinking
in 98 and 99. Anytime Austin had the belt, it was definitely like 3 to 5 months. And at least a couple times there were like some surprise drops, like, holy crap, how did Kane beat him?
Yeah, exactly.
The ministry, and then he'll get it.
Got it back the next night.
The following night.
Yeah, it's like that's fun. Like, get back to that.
Yeah. Liv Morgan will retain, all right, because there's a lot of females that Liv confused with Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Zelina Vega. So I guess Noob is team Liv Morgan, which I don't blame him. I'm still iffy on that match because Dominic being in the cage, and he ain't staying there all night. Somehow, some
Absolutely
way,
not.
come on, man. We know how this goes. Somehow he's gonna get down, interfere. Maybe he might cost Liv Morgan a match. We don't
I was about to
know.
say that. I
It's
think
possible.
that's what can also extend it.
Mhm.
Dom escapes. They're supposed to pull off one of those tricks and instead cost Liv the title, and then hey, you have another way to extend the match.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Before I
it's
get
Liv and Rhea in a future steel cage match or something. I don't know.
before I let Graham go, before we get to the main event of Bad Blood tomorrow, I know we joke around. Like, you're a big Rhea Ripley fan. We haven't had you on a show in either a very long time. But you're well representing mommy today. But what is it about Rhea Ripley that people like us and you are big time fans of her, whether inside the ring, outside the ring? What is the attraction for you for Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, and I will say, and I'm gonna give a super super serious answer with this. I'm proud of her development. I'm proud of her development. A, as a talent, just what she's done to build up the Rhea Ripley character. Mike's skills is damn near impeccable for what she's been able to do. The emotions she's able to draw out. She's had her fair share of great matches, good matches. And then when you think about outside of the ring, she is an incredible spokesperson for WWE. Like Randy, being at Fanatics this year, Fanatics working close with WWE. I've had the chance to see Rhea up close, at WWE World, at WrestleMania, and at Fanatics Fest, and she is a true champion of the people. Like, she is incredibly nice. She is not one of those, okay, you see what you see on TV, and then it's the complete opposite in real life. Like, no, she's
Right.
incredibly nice, endearing to the fans, embraces the fans. So it makes it very easy to be a fan of her because it's like, not only has she put in the work, so of course, give her a big salute for what she does to the craft, but like as a person, she is incredible. She's awesome. So like that's what's made it easy for me over the past year to be a big fan and be a part of the Mommy Hive. I'm like, that's incredible to see when both in and out the ring, there's a true commitment to excellence.
Mhm. Graham, main event, Bad Blood.
Cody
Reigns.
Roman. I think it's got to be Cody Roman.
Your guy, Cody Rhodes, world champion against Solo and Jacob Fatu. What do we have going on for this match? Are we gonna see that Roman and Cody are not getting along as a tag team, which happens all the time? But how do you end it? What do you think happens at the end of this match?
I think Cody Roman win. I don't think they have to. I think the bloodline can use an extra boost by beating two stars the caliber of Cody and Roman. I just don't see a scenario where Cody or Roman get beat. That's my biggest thing, because Cody just got pinned in a tag match 2-3 months ago, Money in the Bank, by Solo to set up the SummerSlam match where he beat Solo and then he beat him again on SmackDown recently. You don't have Solo pin Cody again. That would be dumb.
Mhm.
Jacob Fatu pinning Cody, possible. But I mean, that's just going to set up Cody and Jacob where Cody wins. I think we're at a point, going back to what Arden was talking about, you both guys were talking about the titles and whatnot. Cody's probably holding that belt till Mania. I don't think he's going to lose it. So if like a Jacob Fatu one-off win real quick, if only for a little while, would be awesome. I don't think we're going there, though. So I wouldn't sacrifice him to Cody. So I don't think he pins Cody either. I guess he could pin Roman. I don't know if Roman's first match back he loses. I would be very surprised. That would be the most shocking thing on the show, I think. So yeah, I think Cody Roman win this. Here's the thing. Cody and Roman could win. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, it's all about the aftermath. So if they win, that could be immediately overshadowed by whatever the bloodline does next. If The Rock comes out and lays out Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns or whatever, the bloodline losing, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter as much because the focus will be on Rock and Cody setting up their Mania match or whatever. I would be surprised if Rock pulls up in friggin' Atlanta of all places for a B show. I would love to see it. I would just be very surprised if it happens, despite all the teases and whatnot. So I'm going Cody Roman. I think the match will be good. The appeal of Cody and Roman teaming and they're massive fan favorites. That alone will carry this match. I don't think as a match it'll be like a barn burner, but Cody's also from Atlanta. You have that factor too. I think it'll be a good match. I think Cody and Roman go over. We'll see what happens afterward, but I do have Cody and Roman winning this match though.
And Artie, before you answer that, I do want to. Graham just mentioned something very you said 10 minutes ago you're tired of long title reigns. We got to go back to what worked back in the day of flip-flop title every 2-3 months. I think we got to start getting away from people are only expected to return at a big major pay-per-view, WrestleMania.
No, I agree. And I've said this before. I want them to do less of, and I may have mentioned this last week. I want them to do less of Mania to SummerSlam and SummerSlam to Mania booking. That's traditional, and I'm a traditional booking fan as far as that sort of stuff goes. But it makes the B shows feel predictable and not worth watching. Like all the other shows they've done this year have been great, but honestly, a big part of why those shows were great, they were good shows, but they were carried by the crowd. Again, we're going to have a sold-out show tomorrow, but we're not in Germany. We're not in France. You're not going to have those crazy crowds that we had across the world. You need something more than that to really make the show stand out. I think on paper, this card is worth buying, watching, whatever. But as far as like sticking out as memorable, a Rock return or something crazy happening would make people remember this show. Like Bad Blood 97 was not a SummerSlam show, but you had the first ever Hell in a Cell match in that show, and we still talk about it 27 years later. So I totally agree with that.
And that's my point, where if The Rock returns at Bad Blood, oh shit, I didn't expect that, because I've seen Stone Cold come back at a Backlash. I've seen Undertaker come back at a Judgment Day. Like, it's not, my return is not only built for WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the Royal Rumble. So if The Rock is, that means, like Cody said, crown jewel. What do we got going for that? Because we don't know, it's going to be Rock, Roman, Fatal 4-Way tournament. We don't know who his next opponent is. So, Artem, main event, the Bad Blood. Who you got, and how would you end this this night?
Yeah, I'm still going with Cody and Roman. I feel like that's, for me, logically, like, all right, let's go towards there. I think, again, right, Cody in his hometown, Roman's first match back. PLE match back. But at the same time, I just had like this thought about, again, we know the bloodline battle is going to take place at Survivor Series. Like, that's what is supposed to happen, right? So I also think, what if you do have bloodline win tomorrow? Because I think about certain things, right, in terms of the Roman Solo dynamic, right? Like, Solo, last he saw Roman, was able to get the heads up on Roman because they just absolutely smashed him and got him out of there. And he, of course, still has what Roman wants. So when I think about those things, and I think, okay, for Roman's character development, especially because we're starting to see a bit more vulnerability in Roman's character, right? He's lost everything, like he said in that classic promo exchange with Cody at Georgia Tech, right? You don't got wise man. You don't have all these different things. Cody in that incredible promo was like, by the way, look around you, dog. Like, WWE has changed. You don't have a tribal chief. You're not the WWE champion. Right?
That's right.
You could easily not be that same guarantee that was in the WrestleMania main event. So I also wonder, like, do you play into that a bit more by having them lose and maybe having Roman be the one that takes the pin? Because I think from a storyline standpoint, you could really lean into that, to where it's like, hey, again, Roman, you're not that guy. A lot has changed. You have Survivor Series coming up. That could also tie in the fact that, like, hey, if you really want to beat us, dog, if you really want to be that guy, you better call your troops. And I think that's where that could lead to the Jimmy Uso. That could lead into Heyman being back. That could lead into him getting that big triumphant win at Survivor Series. So that way it's like, all right, he's back. We'll see you at the Rumble, and we'll see what goes on. I'm still going to, again, stick with my answer. Cody and Roman will win. But the more I think about it, the more I wouldn't be surprised if they lost tomorrow, because of the bloodline implications for what they have to do at Survivor Series. And I'm very intrigued to see more Roman's character be revealed over the course of time in these circumstances. And I love it. I love the fact that he's been a bit more vulnerable, and it's not just this indestructible, arrogant guy. Like, I like the fact that, again, like, he's being realistic. He's being human, you know, like, showing that emotion.
Yeah. And just the point you mentioned earlier about telling Romeo, this ain't yours right now. This is a different time, different, you know, you stepped aside, you lost a Mania. This is my shit right now. But when a guy like Cody is saying that, to some people, it might come across like that's like something a heel would say. The tone and the attitude you're saying, yo, this is me, bro. This ain't about you no more. You lost everything. I'm top dog right now. But like, across the screen, a fan like me, you, and Grant could be like, "Damn, man, that's kind of like fucked up to say." But Cody's still the good guy, but Roman's the tweener now, and it's still
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to seeing Roman in that style. Like, damn, I seen you be a bad guy for 4 years. Now you come out, you get cheered, and still he looks like he's not used to that portion just yet. So it's still kind of funny looking to see right now.
Yeah, and that's why I also said, like, yo, I could see it being like if they lose, have Roman be the one that gets pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could build it up for at least another 2 months. Like, this could also be, if they wanted to, this could be a multi-month journey. Like, because if you think about it for the greats, right? Like, a lot of the greats have gone through this redemption stage of after being dominant for a while,
Mm-hmm.
right? For example, after Cena lost The Rock at what was it, WrestleMania 27, 28, whatever it was.
28,
Like,
yeah.
we saw Cena go on a year-long journey of like he couldn't win anything. He was effed up from losing that match, and then it made it worthwhile when we saw him at 29 beat Rock and get the title back. And I think I'm not saying for Roman they're gonna do that. I definitely don't think they'll do that for Roman, but I also think a possibility could be, so Mania or something. Let's put him through the fire. Like, let's really build out more. At the end of the day, we just had bro rule the universe for 4 freaking years. For 4 years. So if they said, hey, for 6-8 months, let's go on this emotional journey, right? Put him in a rumble. Oh, he gets close. No, he's no longer like,
Yeah.
this. I kind of want to see that. I'm selling myself into this now. Like, I want to see that. I think that'd be really cool to see that sort of character development for him than just, okay, comes back, kicks ass, they win, go away, come back, title picture. It's like, Hunter, Crew, let me see your pens work. I want to see more of that.
And Graham, he just mentioned, I saw it yesterday that Roman Reigns will be in the Royal Rumble match. Okay,
most likely,
now.
that's the rumor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why wouldn't he be? Because I think the report had indicated, they're thinking of putting him in the Rumble as opposed to putting him in a match. If he had a match, who would it even be? Like, why would he have he could have a regular match with someone at the Rumble. Don't get me wrong, he could, but I think that'd just be silly. I mean, if he's not a champion, he should be in the fucking Rumble. So it's funny that we're talking about this as if it's news, because it is news, because he hasn't been in a Rumble in like 5-6 years, so it's a big deal. But it makes the most sense for him to be in the Rumble. I totally agree with Arden. I think you put him in the Rumble. I don't know what happens in the next couple months. I don't know if we get the Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series. I hope so. I don't know if it's too much to build up within the next month and a half. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow and if they take the first steps towards doing that. But you could do Roman in the Rumble. Then he gets chucked out by, I would think, probably Rock. Or you have someone from the Bloodline. I don't know if you have Rock in the Rumble too, because then who tosses out the Rock? I don't know. I feel like that'd be a lot. I was thinking we get Roman and Rock in Mania, but I don't know if we do. Maybe it's just Jacob Fatu and they want to save the Rock match for 42 and wherever they are next year. So I honestly, I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see. I'm just excited to see where they go with them.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Way too early prediction. Roman's the favorite to win 2025 Rumble?
For me, no.
He could be a favorite. I mean, he would be considered a favorite. He's not my favorite, but he could be considered a favorite. Sure. We could get Roman and Cody 3. I think that's a very big possibility. I don't think you do it this soon at Mania, but I think that's a possibility for sure.
I mean, listen, can Roman win a Rumble? Of course he can. Is he my pick as of October 4th? No, because I told Graham many months ago, because Arden, think about it. CM Punk comes back.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to main event night 1 of Mania 40 with Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Does not happen. He gets hurt. Now he comes back and he's making a stride coming back. I will put CM Punk as the winner of the 2025 Royal Rumble match, and he will get the World Heavyweight Champion, whoever that might be, Gunther, whoever, because he ain't going for Cody's title, in my opinion. But would I want to see a CM Punk Cody Rhodes match? Sure, but it just, I don't know. I think Punk will be the favorite if healthy. Knock on wood, he's healthy. Because if Roman is in the Rumble, he's not going to win it. I don't think he wins it. Now you got to find a way to get him out the Rumble distracted. Rock comes out, Bloodline comes out, but it's so many questions, and it could be a good thing that they have many options to pick from, because you can go with Cody, Rock at Mania, you can go Rock and Roman at Mania, you can go with Cody and Roman 3 at Mania, you can go with Roman Jacob Fatu at Mania. We just don't know, and that's the beauty of it. But the bottom line is, I'm asking you, which route would you go for Mania 41 in Vegas?
I still lean towards Rock Roman. I still lean towards Rock Roman.
Told you, Graham.
Ding, ding, ding. No, listen, I agree. I have said I want Rock Roman and Mania this year. I just think they see this as, we can drag this out another year. We were supposed to get it this year. We know that. We were supposed to get it 5 other times.
Graham, I'm saying this is Vegas now. This is Vegas. This is like,
you're preaching to the wrong guy. I agree with you. I think they should. I just think they see that as, well, we can wait. And if we've waited this long, we can wait another year and we can do Jacob Fatu and Roman instead, which is also a WrestleMania worthy match. I would prefer they just get it over with and do Rock and Roman this year, and maybe just do a second match next year. I don't know.
Yeah. Plus, too, also think about getting that title picture. It's like, there's a lot going on with the WWE title. Many ways they could go with Cody. But you didn't think about the world title, right? Gunther holding on to that belt. There's a lot of different options, right? You got Punk. You got what I want to really see at Mania, which is I want to see Cena go against him for the world title at Mania.
Another Rumble favorite right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Cena win the Rumble for his last dance. Because I also have a theory that, like, hey, like, either A, you could have Cena win clean at Mania, or you could do a situation from like Mania to Slam. It's like on some, again, shout out to Carl. He was telling me, he was like, yo, what if they went like a Rocky 3 moment with Cena and Gunther, where it's like, I think it was Rocky 3, right? It was like, Rocky against the big Russian, Gunther just absolutely demolishes Cena at Mania, and then it becomes like a chase. And then at SummerSlam, Cena wins the title and then can hold it until the end of the year, then drops it to, this is my dream scenario, holds to the end of the year, drops it to who I think is his greatest rival in Randy. So Randy can get 16th, 17th reign on it. But yeah, there's a lot of options that you can play with there with that. So I think the next couple months is going to be major to see, like, okay, what happens. Because again, even with Punk, going back to Punk beats Drew. What's next for Punk over the next couple months? We don't tease Punk in the world title picture. Him and Gunther don't run the fade real quick somewhere along the way. Like,
right.
What's supposed to happen with that? And here's an underrated guy to consider too, by the way. They didn't do what they did with Braun on Monday, looking at the world title for no reason. I expect Braun to be in the world title picture not only next year, but I expect him to win the world title at some point, either next year or in 26.
Yeah, a lot of factors to consider.
So, who was this big guy that's coming back this week? Who do you think the quote unquote big guy is? Cody ain't say that for no reason on Pat McAfee. So what's the options? Rock.
Well, Rock is the number one choice. Yeah.
Well, coming back. I got Rock, man. I got DJ, man.
So we're looking like if it ain't SmackDown, it probably tomorrow night, right?
What, that he will be back on SmackDown?
Yeah, Cody said this week.
Well, SmackDown's tonight as we speak.
Right, so that's still part of this week. That could be tonight or tomorrow.
I got Rocky pulling up tomorrow, man.
I would be, if we think it's Rock, I don't think he pulls up this SmackDown. I don't think you have him show up on SmackDown and then he's not in the match on Saturday.
Yeah.
Know, I think the focus is on the pay-per-view. That would immediately overshadow the pay-per-view unless he shows up at the pay-per-view, which I think is more likely if he's there.
Yeah.
Before I move on, I got a very important question. I'll start with Arden. Graham did say Cody Rhodes will walk into WrestleMania 41 as champion. I agree. The big question is he walking into WrestleMania 41 as champion as 100% good guy, or are we looking like he's like 80% good guys? He's 75%. As the crowd slowly not wooing all the time, like it's gonna be a different attitude Cody Rhodes by Mania 41, regardless of who he fights.
I agree with you. I think he's still going to be a good guy, but I think it's going to be like 70-30, maybe 65-35. I think it's going to be that way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think He will definitely not turn heel by Mania. I feel like that would be too soon anyway. We're all anticipating like bad guy Cody. I feel like he's in his element in that role. We saw that during his last WWE run, but if you saw any of his outside of WWE work and Ring of Honor, New Japan, not really in AEW, but he was a great heel. He's an amazing heel. We're going to get that at some point. Homelander Cody, as people say, if you've ever seen The Boys, and I think it's going to happen at some point. I don't think it happens this soon, though. He's just going back to what Arden said about Rhea earlier. He's a great spokesperson for the company. I just don't think they turn him anytime soon. Yeah. And he's still super over. He's not getting Cena reaction circa 05 through 08, where he was like half booed, half cheered, or mostly booed, kind of cheered by the women and kids and whatever. He's universally beloved right now. I don't know if that'll be the case by Mania. It could be more 70-30 crowd reaction-wise. I don't think he goes tweener heel even for a very long time. I think you run this out for as long as you possibly can.
Because Graham, like to Art's point, if you put John Cena and Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41, like
he will not be universally cheered in that case. For Cody, I mean, people would cheer Cena because it's his last dance. So I mean, I don't know. The crowd reaction would be interesting. I don't think we get that match in Mania, but it's a possibility. We still need Cody and Rock at some point. I just don't know when we get that. Is that at the Rumble? Like, I think that would be cool. I mean, listen, we got Punk and Rock at the Rumble 10, 12 years ago or whatever, so they could do it. I mean, I don't know if they will, though.
And for Cena at Mania, I expect him to go for the world title.
Yeah, I feel like that's more likely, yeah.
I think that's the world title unless you do on some, hey, passing of the torch, one generation from another. Like, I guess in a way, I don't know. What's 2020? What could be the 2025 version of Rock Hogan at 18? Could be Cody Cena. But I think that's super unlikely unless you really want to get into that bag and go, hey, two of the generation's best, most beloved, et cetera, and et cetera. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I think the promos in that would be incredible. I think Cena would flame Cody on the mic, but I think it'll be a very great exchange either way.
Yeah, I dig the Cena Gunther match. They're both fresh matches, but I think Gunther has a lot less likely opponents for Mania. You look at Cody, he has Rock. I don't think you do Roman. There's a few other people for Cody. I think on Randy Orton, obviously. We've talked about Cody and Randy a ton. How can you forget about that? I think on Raw, they have a lot of star power, but like Gunther and Rollins is possible. You say Punk winning the Rumble, Randy. I agree with that, but at the same time, do we get Punk and Gunther at Mania? I don't think Gunther loses the belt before Mania. He's another one. I don't think he loses it, and if he does, I think he'll get it back before Mania. I think Rollins and Punk are destined for each other to have the match they were supposed to have last year. So that immediately takes them out of the equation, unless there's a triple threat. Ilya Dragunov, I don't think was actually going to happen, but he got hurt. Braun Breaker's a possibility. He's a dark horse. We can't forget about him. I think that might be a little too. Jey Uso's a possibility. He'll probably lose the IC title by then, so he's a possibility too. But I think all roads go back to Cena. I think we're going to get Gunther and Cena regardless anyway, but they could do it at Mania regardless of who goes over. So, yeah, it's something to keep in mind.
Arden, do you want John Cena to break Ric Flair's championship record?
Hell yeah.
I think he should too. I agree with that.
Hell yeah. I've been waiting on that, bro. Listen, I want Cena to win as much as possible next year, bro. Listen, I get all that. Gotta lay your back and for the business. F all that, man. It's the last dance for John Felix Anthony Cena, man. Win. We need as much wins as possible, bro. I don't care about all that. Oh, lay your back. Look at the stars. Pass it on. F all that, man. Arm raised as much as possible next year. It's only right, man.
Who would you have as John Cena's final opponent?
Randy Orton.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Greatest rival between those two, man. Like Cena doing the honors. That to me is an honors match. Let Randy, because Randy's at what, 15 or 16?
I think 14.
14, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. Let Randy. Whether Randy is able to hit 15 and is looking for 16 or is still at 14. Yeah, man. Let Randy get a step closer. I would love that. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be extremely fitting.
All right, Graham, we're going to go to you. We're going to move on a couple more things. So, AEW, new TV deal. They just did a 5th anniversary of Dynamite. on Wednesday. TBS, TNT for Collision and Rampage, and the pay-per-views will be on Max. I don't know what the terms are, the years, or the money, but what do you make of this new TV deal? Also, now maybe likely MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley heading to AEW. So, what's your take of all this stuff going on right now?
I mean, the TV deal stuff, obviously, not much more to say than what you just said, aside from it just being good for the business. Great for them, obviously, good for the business to have a healthy alternative. We've all been fans for a long time, you guys even longer than I have. And, they've had other companies, like there's been TNAs and stuff like that, but no one's really been a true competitor to WWE other than WCW 20 plus years ago. Not that AEW will ever beat out WWE, but it's nice to have another big company on a big platform making big money for the first time in 20 plus years. The Max thing is cool. I think they're doing it at like a discounted rate or something, which is weird. I don't love that. I mean, we're kind of spoiled with the Peacock model right now and the WWE Network model where you can watch a great show for $10. The AEW pay-per-views are great too. Currently, they're like $50-$60. It's going to be less than that. But again, it's hard to top the $10 model that WWE has. But at the same time, I think there's a pretty big chance in the next couple of years, WWE might do something similar when they leave Peacock and maybe go to like, I don't know, their own app again or a TKO UFC model, which is what they currently follow. That's a whole other conversation. But the TV deal thing is cool. The Hurt Business stuff I think is awesome too. I feel like that was the most likely landing spot for them after they all left WWE. We saw Shelton Benjamin pop up on Wednesday. MVP's already there. Bobby's definitely imminent. We kind of already imagine or assume that. I think they'll do well there, and hopefully they get a real run. And WWE, they had a great run too, but for them to not bring them back together, and that was a Triple H call. Triple H was in charge when they could have been put back together, and Triple H said no. I mean, it just never happened. So, hoping they can get a cool run in AEW and mix it up with some of the people over there.
Auden, talk to me. Her Business, MVP, Shelton Benjamin on the way, Bobby Lashley to AEW. What's your take on that? And do you agree that the fact that me and Graham was on the show many years ago and said that them breaking up was like so early for no reason?
Yeah, I agree with you there. They had something really good with Her Business. I too wasn't happy when they broke up. Salute to AEW. I think for AEW, right, and Graham mentioned it as well, they definitely have been a good competitor. It's been healthy for just wrestling in general to have these viable options at the top do great things. Whenever I'm able to see them do what they do, whether it's All Out or these big massive stadium shows, it's been incredible to see. Whether it's Bryan Danielson doing what he do, had the chance to watch Swerve, and my favorite AEW guy that I keep tabs on is MGF. So I love just following along, seeing what he does and things of that nature as well. But yeah, it's well deserved. It's well deserved what they're doing. They continue to put out a quality product. I think for them, it's just continuing to stay the course, which could be interesting because on one hand, right, when you think about the type of business people that the Khan family could be, right, there's probably a lot of competitiveness within them to want to compete and go for the number one spot. But you also got to understand on the other hand, like it's great being the clear cut number two and not having to worry about nobody else take your number two spot and be competitive and be an alternative option for other talent, whether it's a WWE or New Japan, TNA, or whoever will want to go to. So it's well deserved their success. I think at the end of the day, their product's been very solid. They've been able to stand out on their own. And anytime that I watch AEW, I'm not immediately thinking of WWE. Like I think they truly have their own style. Their product is really solid, and their success is well deserved, especially with the new TV deal.
Dynamite celebrated 5th year anniversary on Wednesday. We had a conversation I think 2 weeks ago about like for the first 5 years of AEW, who makes the Mount Rushmore? I want to see if you agree with what Graham said. Graham had Omega, Jericho, MJF, Omega, MJF, Moxley. Then he had, I guess he had Punk, but / Jericho. So it's one of those two. Do you agree with Graham's Mount Rushmore of AEW's Mount Rushmore in the first 5 years?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like that's a really strong list. Really strong list. Those have been the defining guys. Again, Omega, one of those ones, man. You think about what Moxie has done, especially after leaving WWE. It's been a job well done. Graham, you also said MGF, right? Did you say
MJ,
MGF?
I mean, he's probably the
Absolutely.
best homegrown star they've got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like
Yeah.
he's up there. And then I think Jericho and Punk sharing a spot. I think it's fair. I would probably lean more towards Jericho
Yeah.
getting the entire spot. But yeah, I think that's incredibly fair for Mount Rushmore for sure.
Graham, did you check out NXT on the CW? I saw some highlights on social. The debut episode in Chicago. I saw Punk was there. Trick Williams, the new NXT champion.
Yes, sir.
Cora Jade returned. So it's a lot going on in NXT right now. Did you see it? And if you did, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was good. I thought they had a good show. Trick Williams, new NXT champion. He's the face that brand. He was only not champion for a couple months. Ethan Page, to his credit, did a great job. But Trick's the future. They want to usher in this new era, and Trick's that guy. Whoop that Trick, that whole thing. He's great. Obviously,
Yep.
another great spokesperson for them. Homegrown
Yeah.
star. The show itself was good. I didn't think it was like amazing, but I thought it was good. They were outside of the Florida bubble. They were in Chicago on Tuesday. They will not be running on the road every week. I don't think they should. I think part of the appeal of NXT, it's a developmental show. It's like watching, AAA baseball or something like that. They're not going to be on the road. That's just for the takeovers and the pay-per-views, they should be, but for the weekly shows, they can't be, I don't think. But I thought Tuesday's show was good. And I think there might be even more surprises in store coming up next week. Randy Orton's on the show in St. Louis having a match with one of their newcomers, Javon Evans, who's great too. And that's going to be awesome. So, yeah, I like the show for what it was.
Oh, then talk to me. NXT on CW.
Trick.
You saw it?
Trick.
You saw it on Wednesday? NXT on CW?
Yeah, two-time Trick, baby. It was about that time. I wanted my dog to get that title back, man. Two-time Trick, man. Shout out to him too, bro. What he's done once again as another representative, as another star is incredible. But yeah, I'm so excited for what NXT is going to do on CW. I think that's a huge get. I think it's been great for them as well for some of their more recent PLEs. The crowds that they've been drawing in these big arenas, right? It looks practically sold out. I think about Battleground when they had, Big Sexy Red on there. That was like a lot of fun to see that.
She'll be on the show next week too. She's coming back on Tuesday. Yeah,
excited.
Nice.
I'm excited. I think that's great, man. I think what HBK and the crew has done down there, I think they have done a great job. And once again, building up the NXT brand to where every time I tune in, I don't feel like I'm watching the WWE's development system. Like I feel like I'm watching a very strong third option just because of the talent, just because of the presentation. I mean, listen here, man. The beautiful women and NXT.
I got a lot of them.
A whole lot.
There's a great joke on Twitter, and I agree. Shawn Michaels' Explore page, one of one. Because oh my God, I mean Jada Parker, Lola.
She's
Rice,
a star too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Jada.
My baby Nakia Lyons, man, baby, please get the knees right. Get you back in that ring. But no, they have a great product, man. And for me, outside of Trick, I've loved what they've done with the TNA integration.
That's
what
been
they
cool
did,
too. Yeah.
With Jade Grace, who's an incredible champion, what she's done. I'm Joe Hendry Hive, man. I sing that song at least once a day. The vibes right. I would love to see more of him as well in there as well. But no, they're doing a great job over there, man, for real.
So let me ask you this, Arden. I'm gonna put you to the fire. Let's have some fun, all right?
Yeah.
NXT has been around going on 15 years. Next year, in February, 15 years. A lot of people to come in and out of NXT. A lot of world champions, tag champions, the whole nine. But if you had to pick, let's say we do one for the males, one for the females.
Yeah.
What is your NXT Mount Rushmore males, NXT Mount Rushmore females?
Ooh. Man. Start with the guys. Damn.
Not that easy.
They've had a lot of great success, especially just over like the last 6 to 8 years alone.
Yeah.
Freak. I'm blanking on his name. I would say freaking on a Mount Rushmore, I would go KO. For me personally, I would go KO.
Okay.
I really liked what Melo did in NXT. So I'll
Carmelo
have
Hayes.
Melo up there. Yeah. So I'll have Melo
he's
up
great.
there second. So KO, Melo, Freak. The last two, or one of the spots might have to be split between the tag team on SmackDown, DIY.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a great run. Those matches
Oh, yeah.
were incredible. So
Yeah.
you know what? Might be controversial, but I remember really getting into NXT because of them and seeing what they did. I'll give them their own 2 spots.
Okay.
So I will go KO, Melo, and DIY because I was really impressed with what they did.
Hmm.
And on the women's side,
Okay.
that's gonna be tough. What?
That's okay. I got you.
On the women's side, that's gonna be tough. I got a freaking damn. It's gonna be tough.
So why you think, Graham? What do you think? Do you have the same Mount Rushmore for NXT?
There's just so many great choices. Honestly, I don't know if there's any one right answer, but I would give a spot to Gargano for sure. I think if you could give one spot for 4 guys, that's cheating. But if I had to pick one Undisputed Era was such a big part of NXT for a long time. So if I can give one spot to those 4 or just one, it would be Adam Cole. I put him on there. Finn Balor was very successful, not only during his initial run there, but when he came back a couple of years ago as part of the NXT on USA era for about a year or 2. So him, and then, I guess from like recent years too, Melo was there for a while and he had a really good run. Either him or Braun Breaker, because they both kind of were the faces of this most recent run. So I guess Melo or Braun. And then for the women, I'm a stump too, like Arden, because there's so many great choices.
There's
honestly,
so many great choices.
So many great choices. You could literally give all 4 spots to the 4 horsewomen alone.
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
just about to say. Like I started thinking of names. I'm like, Bailey is gonna have to be on that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Bailey's gonna have to be up there.
Oscar.
I would put Oscar on there. Yeah.
Oscar second. Freak. I think Rhea was NXT, right?
Yeah, she was there for a little while, actually. Yeah,
but I don't know if there was I don't know. Yeah, Rhea, right? I'm trying to think. There was
Rhea Ripley. Yeah, Rhea.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would be 4.
Just to help you guys out, I'll throw names out there. We got Nakamura. We got Sami Zayn. You mentioned KO. We got Braun Breaker. We got Sasha Banks, Bailey, Charlotte, Becky, Asuka, Shayna Baszler.
She'll be my 4th.
There you go.
She'll be my
Charlotte's 4th. A good 4th pick. Yeah, she was a big part of that brand, and she came back too. So, 2-time NXT Women's Champ.
Yeah, I think Balor got to be up there. If he would have kept like Bobby Roode at one point, bro, was like
at one point, yeah.
At one point, one point, it was so over, bro. Like it was fucking incredible. Like Graham, me and you was at Barclays one night for Takeover.
Takeover Brooklyn too. I remember. Bro, I saw you that Saturday. I saw Arden the next day for SummerSlam. It was a fun weekend. Yep.
Bro, they were singing Nakamura's theme song in the hallway when the night was over.
I remember. Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
It was special, man. It was a special time for wrestling and for specifically NXT. And the fact that we all got to be a part of that at one point or another has been, it's awesome. It's really cool.
It's like, I feel like I'm forgetting some people, but before I wrap it up, let me just see if I got any, you said Adam Cole, Finn Balor. Let me see who
Ciampa was another great one that Arden mentioned. You could even go early days like Neville.
Samoa Joe.
Joe was there for a while too. Joe was a good one. I think Mount Rushmore didn't do it justice, to be honest. Trick is getting there too. Trick's been there for a long time, a lot of success, and he's super fucking over. So I'd go with him too.
You got Andrade, Aleister Black. You mentioned Ciampa, Gargano, Keith Lee, Karrion Kross.
Yeah, Keith Lee's another one.
Braun, Dolph, Carmelo Hayes. A
lot of good ones.
Wasn't Gunther in NXT? My bugging?
For a cup of coffee. He was more so NXT UK than he was NXT. Yeah.
So he was that nice where he like I don't need
They called him up pretty quickly after he left NXT UK.
And real quick for the women's, let me get them real quick, and I got one more for order for you bounces. All right, Paige, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Asuka, Ember Moon, Baszler, Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Io, Raquel
Raquel,
Gonzalez,
Mandy Rose,
Mandy Rose,
Roxanne.
Roxanne
Yeah.
Perez, Indy Hartwell, Tiffany Strat.
Lyra, Becky. Yeah.
It's a
A
lot.
lot of good
It's a
choices.
lot
Yeah.
going on.
Heavy hitters.
Yep.
Heavy hitters.
Heavy
Looking
hitters.
forward to NXT being on CW. Definitely gonna check it out. All right, my last question to you.
Yes, yes.
I think they've been finally teasing a New Day breakup of some sorts, or maybe start going from the good side to the bad side. And
Yeah.
Xavier got like somewhat of a heelish win against Rey Mysterio, pulled the mask off on Raw.
Yeah.
Do you think we get a New Day heel turn for one of them, or do you think it's a New Day heel turn for the both of them?
Man, that's tough because I was also thinking, what if neither turns heel, and this was just a interesting caveat to add to their dynamic because they've been around for so long, and it's like, hey, like, what if it's just you show tension, right? Because they've been at this now for what feels like 10 years. And you just want to show that dynamic. I still have a dream scenario where even if he's not wrestling, that Big E could be back in the picture in some way. I love Big E to be like the manager, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if one was to turn, I'm gonna go with a twist. I think it's so easy to say Xavier, when in reality, I can see Kofi turning. Like, I feel like it's
I'd be down
easy.
for that.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be super easy because, right, with the whole carrying cross angle, him getting to Xavier doing what he did to Ray, lashing out at Kofi. It's like I see the vision. So if it happens, okay. But Kofi's exchange with Xavier on Monday had me going, because as he's talking to him about, like, yeah, got the Intercontinental title match. I actually told Jay it should be you. He had said something along the lines of, like, you're supposed to be the quarterback, right? You're supposed to be the quarterback of the team. You're supposed to do et cetera and et cetera. So I feel like it'd be very interesting if next week Kofi's the one that does Xavier in. Like, do you forget who I am? Like, you really acting like you're this guy. You trying to lash out on me, but like, dog, I'm better than you. I'm bigger than you. I've gone to places here that you haven't. And I feel like there could be a really interesting dynamic just because, again, if they went Xavier heel, okay. But I think it'd be more interesting if Kofi went heel.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I like it because Kofi's been a bad guy before. I mean, obviously, when they first got in New Day, they were bad guys. But I think Xavier would benefit more from a Kofi heel turn because that's the rub he'll get. Because at some point, Xavier's going to get a singles title here and there, U.S. Intercontinental. He needs that for the resume. Kofi's been there, world champion, tag champion, IC, all that stuff. So the rub for Kofi to be the bad guy and build off of that, no matter what, I don't want them together no more for the time being. They've been too long. We got to do something different. But if this is different of Kofi being the bad guy and Woods building off of that, then I'm down for that.
Yeah, and that could be a great launching point for Xavier. They get into a program, you beat Kofi, that's like, he technically beat a former WWE champion. Now you could get into something, and plus for WWE, right? At the end of the day, too, it's also a business. So you give Xavier that shot, and it's like, hey, big dog, we let you beat freaking Kofi. We built it up, and the fans aren't behind you, or we wasn't really able to do anything with you. You know what I mean? It proves what it is. And I'm optimistic for Xavier, but I think only if they turn Kofi heel. And then they get into that program and Xavier gets to win. And then it's like, all right, let's see what you do as a mid-card guy.
Grant, what else you got for Alden before he leaves?
That's it. I would love to see it as well. I'm excited about the New Day stuff. I said this the other day on Twitter, but I think it's the best thing going on Raw right now. It's a weekly compelling storyline. I haven't heard that idea yet, but honestly, I fucking love it. I love it. I want to see heel Kofi. I have for a long time. Didn't really dawn on me that it could be possible. They're teasing Xavier, but they turn the other guy instead. classic, swerve there from WWE. I would love to see it. And it's been great chatting about New Day. I mean, I think it's been almost a decade of the day since we all started, chatting with each other, like you said, Randy, earlier. So it's great to kind of go full circle here.
Hey, Graham, you never know. I'll clip that part for Autumn, and you never. Triple H does.
He's online, my friend.
He's online.
He pays attention.
He know the vibes. He be watching, so he might come across this. Hey, man, Kofi be a bad guy. You know what?
Hey,
next month, Kofi's a bad guy.
Hey, man, and me and Papa H, man, we've met. I've met Papa H. We've been around.
He knows Arden.
Man.
How do you address him? Hunter, Paul, Triple H, or Hunter?
Everybody else calls you Hunter. I'm gonna call you Hunter too. I'm gonna do that as well. And hey, listen. Everybody knows, my beloved FanSided, my hip hop media outlet. So I'm always throwing up fours. But in honor of Hunter, man, I've also adopted
the point.
Well,
the point, baby.
The point hit different. That point hit different. That's really. Hey, I gotta send y'all the picture. Y'all might have seen it when I had a picture with Triple H at one of my previous stops, and he gave me the point. I felt valid for the whole.
Yeah, you get that Triple H point, you are good.
Yeah, so I started adopting that. Just.
I feel like a new NXT champion. The point over here, me, Hunter, me.
What?
You know, do that.
I got a bright future because of this point.
That's funny.
Hunter has the second best point in the company. WrestleMania point sign, then Hunter point to you after you win the title.
You are validated, yeah.
You are validated. Graham, always a pleasure, man. I think we covered everything from Bad Blood to AEW to NXT to different storylines going on. I'm not missing anything from the last week, am I?
No, I don't think so. I think we hit on everything and some much more than that too.
Auden, any final words before you wrap up?
Always great to connect with y'all, man. Super proud of what y'all have been doing, both individually and as a duo. Super excited for Bad Blood, man. Super excited for it. It's been great just being a consistent and committed wrestling fan again. It's for me going on just over a year of actually following along, going to the shows. It's a great time. It's a great time. I'm on episode 4 on Netflix of a certain highly anticipated docu-series.
I'm on episode 2.
Yep. So I got to finish that. But it's been a great time for the business, man. And I know I'm gonna be at some shows later this month. I'm either gonna go to SmackDown in Brooklyn or Raw in Philly, and then of course in our neck of the woods, Saturday night main event, December,
Long Island, baby.
Arena.
Yeah,
that's right.
December, it's coming back.
Throwback. Are you excited for that?
Hell yeah, I'm definitely excited. I definitely want to go. UBS Arena is also a really good arena too. So
yeah,
I think it's gonna be really good. And again, we shall see what it's gonna be like at the end of the year for the company.
Last point. Did I see something where I don't know if it's recent, but Cody is like we know this, but I thought it was recent, but he's hell bent on bringing the Winged Eagle title back. Is that recent? Or
I saw that for a while. Graham, did you? I saw that rumor for a while that he wants to bring that back. A la Bret Hart.
Yeah, and he did say again recently. I think someone asked him again in another interview, and he said, "I'm working on it." So I don't know what that. I mean, I guess that means he's working on it. So I guess we'll see. I don't think it's going to definitely happen, but it would be cool if it does. So it would be funny if he's working on it and then they just fucking debut a new belt and give it to the next champion like they did with Punk. Remember Punk said he was working on it? And they gave it to Rock instead.
That's wicked.
Yeah,
that's cold-blooded. If anything,
cold-blooded.
Do the new title reveal on I don't know, on that first Raw on Netflix.
I was going to say first Raw on Netflix. Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
I love that belt, bro. That belt is so synonymous of me growing up and watching Hogan and Macho and those guys. I had that belt, Warrior, with the 24 different color straps. I thought it was dope. But let's see what Cody can do. I mean, he's the world champion. I mean, he can get some shit done, right?
Yep. My favorite title belt is the one after the Wing belt. The one that was from like 98 to maybe.
Oh, the one that gave Stone Cold.
Yeah, the one Austin had, Rock had, Triple H had. The one that was there from like 98 to, I would say, 02, 03 before the WWE Undisputed title came along.
Yeah.
I hate that belt. I fucking hate that belt.
That's my favorite one, bro. That for me is the memories one. That's for me, like when I stop copping belts, I'm getting that one, bro. Swear to God,
yeah.
The one that JBL had?
No, the one before that he's talking
No,
about.
I love that one. It's the one
Okay,
after
okay.
the
He hates the
JBL.
Undisputed.
No,
Okay,
no,
okay.
that one was ugly too. Yeah, it was bland. Like I was super happy when Cena came through with the spinner belt. But the
Yeah,
one from 98 to like 02-ish,
I
that's
know.
my favorite WWE title of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one they
All
gave
time.
Austin after WrestleMania 14. Yeah,
Yep. But here's the thing. They changed the strap because I think the one they gave Austin had like more of a blue strap.
yeah,
If you remember, the one that became the one had the black strap after. And it
yeah,
changed a little bit of the coloring on the main plate because it's actually darker than the original one that they gave Austin after 14. So by the time 15 and 16 came along, oh, that was the one.
yeah. This one.
Yeah. Yup.
And there it
That's
is.
the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one that when I start copping belts, I'm getting that. I'm getting the spinner belt. And then I'll probably get the world title belt, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But speaking
Yeah.
of belts, not to drag this on longer, shout out to WWE for doing the right thing with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I was
Bringing
just
back
about to
Baby
say.
Blue.
Yeah. Nice looking belt.
Yes.
I did notice
Nice
that. I did
improvement.
notice
I
that.
was just about to mention
Yes.
that. Yeah. Good shit.
Beat.
Yes, sir.
That's the one.
That was
Baby
nice.
Blue on the IC belt at all times.
Dude,
I mean,
Triple H pays attention. People said it,
He
and
does.
you know,
He
he
does, but
knows. They know.
he needs to pay attention to Cody Rhodes and bring the Wing Eagle title belt, because once you do that, then it's like, oh, you're bringing all this old school shit back. You might as well bring the fucking belt back. Like everybody wants. That's the most prestigious belt, aside from the big gold belt. That's the most prestigious belt I've ever seen in my life.
I agree.
The top people in the world have had that. Shawn, Brett, Austin, Macho, Hogan, Warrior, Taker, like
Yokozuna.
Sean, like it's Yoko. That's right, Big Yoko.
Kevin Nash.
That's right, Big Daddy
Kevin
Cool,
Nash.
man. Big Daddy Cool. Bob Backlund. Come on,
Bob Backlund had it. Yeah.
Kane.
Mhm.
He had it. That's a fact.
Oh, well, Kane had it. No, Kane did not have it.
Did Lex Luger ever win a WWE title?
No,
No, he
They never
didn't.
gave him a belt?
No, he went for it. Never won it though.
nah.
Just won the Rumble. Just never won the belt though. He won the WCW belt, but never the WWE one. I
He
don't
beat
think.
Yoko by count out
Oh,
at SummerSlam, and then that was it for him.
That was it.
That was it for the Lexus Crest. That was it for man.
Yeah.
Good
And
old
then
Lex.
he shows up on WCW when
Yep.
a certain person used to think handshakes were the deal.
Yeah, and there you go. Arden Franklin is that Arden on both Twitter and Instagram. Great work for FanSided, for Fanatics, for Dunkyard. There's a lot of things you're doing, but you always stay busy. You always stay around. We love you, man. We greatly appreciate you and your work. Graham Matthews, always a vibe. Russell Rand for both Bleacher Report, FanSided, DDT. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on Amazon Music, youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Go ahead, download, rates, comments, subscribe, all that good stuff. Show some love and support for your boys on the program. Graham Matthews, Arden Franklin, 2 out of 3 Falls Podcast. We out.